I'd like to welcome Guido Steinberg now. He's a Middle East analyst and international terrorism expert from the German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Welcome back to DW, Guido. How would you describe, given your expertise, what's happened in Lebanon over the past 2 days?
Well, what happened in Lebanon is a major blow to the internal security of Hezbollah, but it is a blow that has not fundamentally changed the equation between Israel and Hezbollah. It has not weakened Hezbollah. It has weakened internal communications, but there is not one single fighter less stationed in southern Lebanon or in eastern Lebanon. There is not one missile less. So the outcome depends on the reaction by Hezbollah and on the question of whether there is a larger strategy behind what Israel did. And as of now, it doesn't seem so. So the situation between Hezbollah and Israel has not fundamentally changed.
OK, I want to sort of drill into that a little bit more. You're saying Hezbollah hasn't been weakened, but a lot of people are wondering if a large-scale retaliation, which is some people are expecting, is even possible, given that these attacks have wiped out partly how the group communicates, and there also have been assassinations recently of its leaders.
Yeah. Well, it will be more difficult for the organization to communicate, but it will be able to communicate in the coming weeks and months. If we ask ourselves whether there will be a large-scale retaliation, we have to look back at recent months. And it has always been a problem for Hezbollah, especially after the killing of its military leader, Fuad Shukr, some weeks ago, how to caliber such a retaliation. The organization does not want a major war with Israel because it would be tremendously destructive. At the same time, it has, as we just, or it is interested in re-establishing some kind of deterrence. And that is extremely hard. If Hezbollah intensifies its attacks on Israel, on the northern Israeli front, it risks a major war that it doesn't want. So it is, or it remains, in a bind, and it has been in this situation for months now.
So you're saying Hezbollah is in a bind. Israel's Defense Minister has said a new phase, his words, of the war has begun. What do you think Yoav Gallant means by that?
Well, I think that Yoav Gallant personally is very much interested in a preventive war against Hezbollah. He has demanded major military action ever since October 2023. And it might well be that the Israeli government, with strikes like the ones in the last 2 days, wants to provoke Hezbollah. But there are major voices in this government who do not want this war. So it will be extremely interesting in the coming days, first to watch whether Israel is stepping up military activity in southern Lebanon, and secondly, whether Yoav Gallant will remain in place. We have all heard the news that Prime Minister Netanyahu wants to get rid of him, and that might change the situation in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv in the Israeli government. I personally, for the time being, do not expect a major Israeli attack right now, simply because it would have been logical to start such an attack with the attack on the communication systems. That means yesterday or the day before.
Just lastly, is there any influence that external actors can have now to try and perhaps calm the situation?
Well, there is influence, especially by the United States, not by the Europeans. The United States has been pressing the Israeli government not to attack Hezbollah, and it has insisted that there might be a diplomatic solution to this problem. And that is why the Biden administration has been sending its envoy to the conflict, Amos Hochstein to Beirut, to Tel Aviv, for months right now, but this influence is limited. I personally believe that a major escalation between Hezbollah and Israel might be, or might not take place in the coming weeks, but it will be very hard to avoid it simply because the situation from the Israeli point of view on the northern border is untenable. And I think the Israeli government is right in this interpretation of the situation.
Thank you very much for your insights today, Guido. That's Guido Steinberg, Middle East analyst and international terrorism expert from the German Institute for International and Security Affairs.